Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. Welcome back. I'm happy that you are here. If this is your first time listening, this podcast is for the aspiring entrepreneur and any dream chaser that wants to go forward and accomplish their goals. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you work a 9 to 5. It doesn't matter. This podcast is for you. And if this is your first time listening, you can subscribe to this podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and more. This is episode 328, and this week I want to talk about a story. I want to talk about a landowner. And this landowner was gifted a large amount of land. I can't tell you how many acres this land consisted of, but it was a lot. There were trees, there were bushes, there was flowers, there was green grass, there was streams, there was ponds. All of that encompassed on this land. And the landowner took care of it. Sometimes the landowner did what the landowner could to cultivate it, but the landowner didn't really have the enthusiasm for this land because it was just so much, and it was beautiful. The land was beautiful, but the landowner just didn't have the courage and the enthusiasm to care for this land as the landowner could have. The landowner lived on this land, had a nice modest home that provided all of his needs. And then one day, a developer came to the landowner with a proposition. The developer said that you have a lot of land here. This is prime real estate. And if you allow me to build on this land, I will make sure that you benefit from the profits that I accumulate. Now, like I said, the landowner didn't have the enthusiasm to care for all of these acres of land. So the landowner allowed the developer to come in and build. The landowner took the developer's word for it, and the developer said that you will benefit from everything that I do here if you allow me to do it. And the landowner obliged. So the developer came in with his bulldozers and started knocking down all the trees, as trees on top of trees just being bulldozed, and then didn't do anything. Then the developer came in and started to suck all of the streams dry and the ponds dry. It didn't do anything with that either. Then the developer came in and just started digging holes with all of his construction equipment and just started digging holes. And the landowner just couldn't understand what the developer was doing. The landowner couldn't sleep at night. The landowner didn't have peace because of the noise and all of the destruction that was going on outside. So the landowner one day finally approached the developer and asked, "What are you doing? You've knocked down all these trees and you didn't build anything. You sucked all the streams and all the ponds dry and you didn't do anything. You're digging holes, you're tearing up the flowers, you're tearing up the bushes, and you're not doing anything. What are you doing? You said that I was going to benefit from everything that you built on my land. And you haven't built anything on my land. Only thing you've done is cause destruction, and now it's nothing but eyesores on this land that was once beautiful." This is what the landowner was telling the developer. And the developer smiled at the landowner. And the developer said, "I'm not going to do anything. It's just fun." You got to understand, an idle mind is the devil's playground. You are the landowner. The land is your mind. The land had trees, had flowers, had bushes, had streams, had ponds. It had all of these things. It had green grass. It had abundance. But you don't have the enthusiasm for it because you don't have the courage in your ideas. You don't believe in what you're capable of. You don't believe in what you were gifted by God. God gave you this brain. God gave you every single idea, every single intellectual property, every single thought God gave you, but you don't have the courage or the enthusiasm to cultivate it. So therefore, you allow the developer, the enemy, the devil to come in and give you false promises, tell you that, "Oh, if you allow me to think this, you will get the profits. If you allow me to do this, you will get the benefits." The devil has no use for your mind except for to cause chaos and destruction. The idle mind is the devil's playground. We all are familiar with that phrase. And that's what's going on right now in your life, in your entrepreneurial journey. You allowed the enemy to come in and cause chaos, to suck you dry, to dig holes, to cause wreckage. You can't even sleep at night because of all the destruction and all the noise that the enemy is causing. So you have to understand that when you're idle, when you fail to appreciate, when you fail to cultivate, when you fail to execute every idea that's on your mind, this is what happens. More destruction is caused within your mind, on this land, this beautiful land that you've been gifted by God, that you have been given an opportunity to cultivate and do great things with. You see, it is a tragedy when we have all of these ideas, when we have all these skills, when we have all these abilities, when we have all these dreams, and we just let them sit there. Your mind is beautiful. Your ideas are beautiful. You are worthy to cultivate. You are worthy to execute, and you are worthy to grow these dreams, to grow these ideas, but you don't believe it in yourself. You have to understand that the land you've been given in your mind is prime real estate. And it's prime real estate not only for you, but it's prime real estate for the enemy. Because when you start to think bad thoughts, when you start to hold yourself back, when you start to hesitate, when you start to doubt yourself, when you start to tell yourself that it's not worth it and it's not going to work out, this is what ensues. You allow the enemy to come into this prime real estate, and then the enemy begins to dig and begins to destroy and begins to knock down and begins to create eyesores, and before you know it, you're bruised, you're battered, and you're in more despair than you were in the beginning. You have prime real estate in your mind for all of those intellectual properties that you have developed, and it's up to you to grow them. It's up to you to make sure that they bear fruit. So you have to understand, the landowner, you allowed the enemy, the developer, the devil, to come in and cause this chaos. But here's the great news, though. You allowed them to do that. You did not sign a contract. You did not give the developer the deed to this land. You have the power to forcibly remove the developer, the enemy, the devil, from your mind at any given moment. You have the power to do that, to remove them from your land, out of your mind, out of your soul, out of your heart at any given moment, and take back what's yours, because there was no contract signed. There was no blood deed signed. There was no deed given. You still have the rights to this prime real estate, and you still are in control. So therefore, right now, practically, you have to tell yourself, I'm not thinking those bad thoughts anymore. Yeah, I may have made mistakes in the past. Yeah, I may have missed my chance in the past. Yeah, I may have messed up in the past, but I still got today and I still got tomorrow, God willing. So therefore, I'm going to continue to cultivate. I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to make things happen. I'm going to remove this developer. I'm going to remove the enemy, the devil, all these negative thoughts out of my mind, and I'm going to take back my prime real estate. Yeah, the streams and the ponds may be sucked dry. It may be eyesores. It may be a lot of trees that were knocked down. It may be a lot of holes around. But guess what? The great news is you can always fill those streams back up, because there will be rain. There will be blessings from God that's going to come back into your life, into your business, and into your goals. You can always grow those trees back up. Every intellectual property, every seed that you have, you can always grow it. It's going to take time. That's a fact. But you can always regrow them. You can always make this land, your mind, beautiful again. That's the great news. It's not over with. You can either continue to allow him to cause chaos, to allow him to use your mind, this prime real estate, as his playground, and do whatever he chooses with it. And I'm using he, she, it don't matter, because negativity, the developer, the devil, the enemy comes in any form. You can allow that to continue to cause chaos and be a wrecking ball in your mind, or you can evict him out. You can kick him off your land, and you can reclaim what's yours, and you can tell yourself, I still got a chance. Yes, I got a great idea. Somebody else may have did something similar, but I still got that idea, and I'm still me, and I can still only do what I can do because I am me, and there's only one me out of the billions of people on this earth. So in your business, whatever your dreams are, I'm trying to tell you, your mind is prime real estate. Every single idea, every single thought, every single skill, every single ability is not a coincidence. It's not mistaken for somebody else. It's for you. So if it's on your heart, it is your job and your duty to have the enthusiasm and to grow it, to cultivate it, to make everything on your mind come to fruition. It's going to take time. It's not going to be overnight. I'm not going to lie and tell you that you're going to be able to refill these streams, these ponds, grow those trees, those flowers. I'm not going to tell you that all of these ideas are going to happen overnight. But what I am going to tell you is, if you focus on them, if you appreciate the blessings that you have been given, the talents, if you continue to cultivate those ideas, if you continue to work on them, if you continue to grow them, if you continue to do bit by bit every single day, it will grow and it will blossom and it will bear fruit, and And that's what you are going to reap. You are going to reap the fruits of your labor in due time. You are going to reap the profits of your progress in due time. Don't listen to the false promises that the devil gives you. Don't listen to the false promises that negativity gives you. Only listen to the promises that your faith tells you, because that's the truth. And the truth is you have prime real estate and it's yours. It's yours. It don't belong to nobody else. Your mind is yours. You know the old NAACP, I believe, slogan, or the United Negro College Fund. I believe it was the slogan, "The mind is a terrible thing to waste." That's facts. That's facts. It's a terrible thing to waste. Do not waste your mind. You only have one, ladies and gentlemen. You only got one mind, and it's yours. It's yours. And it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. Don't waste it. Those ideas, you may have lost time, but don't waste it. You still got time. As long as you wake up in the morning, you still got time. I don't give a fuck what it is. You have time. And it's up to you to make it happen. Nobody else. That doesn't mean rush. That doesn't mean beat yourself up any more than what you have. It just means focus on the gifts you've been given. Have enthusiasm and persevere. And you will be successful. So that's my message this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality. Don't let the developer, the devil, the enemy come in with false promises and just tear up this beautiful land that you own. Don't let that happen. Remove them. Remove all of them, negative thoughts, from your prime real estate and begin to build up that intellectual property, because it will bear fruit for you in due time. If this podcast has benefited you in any way, shape, or form, I ask for two things as always. Number one, leave a 5-star review. And number two, pass it on to a friend who may benefit from it as well. Have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you next week.